to continue, what we discussed yesterday was we covered mapping, we covered scanning, reporting, and exception forms. Why we use exceptions in what situations. There will be many situations like, for example, a department, a server owner cannot fix any vulnerability. Then in that situation, they will file an exception and stuff. I hear someone unmuted. Any questions or anything? Any concerns? Okay, no, right? Okay. So, and we went through some web application knowledge around HTTPS, the certificates. We saw what type of internet protocols happens and stuff. What I wanted to add was how this encryption handshake exists. I mean, how this initiates when you start your browser all the way till join. Hey, Ali Asgar, welcome back. So now we have Ali, Ahmad Ali, Ali Asgar, Jamal, Rehan, and Toyin. I guess Toyin has some issues with the audio. Yeah. Okay, so yesterday we were discussing around web applications, the HTTPS. Why do we use HTTPS? I mean, what is the purpose of HTTPS being on the website? we went through some just discussions and stuff. So today what we will do is, before we start, I would like to tell you what happens, or how this HTTPS TLS SSL encryption occurs, initiates. Okay, the complete handshake. I apologize, my voice today is not really good because a lot of shouting. I actually went to an event, so yeah. Sorry about that. Okay. So what to start with, how does what's happening in the behind the scenes? I mean, we know the purpose. We know the purpose that HTTPS exists because to encrypt the information that is being transferred from the website to the server, so that anyone who's sitting in between capturing a package shouldn't capture. So wait, Toyin can't still hear no noise. Okay. Oh, my bad. Okay. So yeah, I think Toyin is struggling with some issues. Okay, so HTTPS. So what happens behind the scenes is so this is my browser, okay? And I type google.com, for example. So what happens, you just saw that spinning circle. That's a fraction of seconds under which many things happens. I mean, there are multiple events that takes place. So from my browser, I want to reach out to Google server. That's what I'm doing by typing the DNS name, URL, okay? What happens is browser by default has encryption protocols that it can support, okay? And when the request initially goes from the browser to the server, first of all, it says the browser sends a request to the server saying browser. I'm denoting browser as B and server as S. Okay, just for your knowledge. S for server. Okay. So first of all, browser sends a request to server. As soon as I type google.com, it sends a request to the server. And sorry, Tobian, can you hear me now? Because I see your audio got enabled. Okay. I think so. Come back to the topic. So the browser, okay. So when I type google.com, it sends a request to the server with some information, with the keys that it has, and oh no, so it just sends a message saying hello to the server, okay. Then server replies back to the browser with an acknowledgement. Acknowledgement plus encryption protocol. Here is one. I think I can hear you now, but very, very low. How about now, Toyin? Can you hear me now? Welcome this one. Hey, Toyin, can you hear me now? Please increase your audio volume because I think everyone can hear me loud and clear if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I think it's some audio issues at your side, Toyin. Yeah. So what happens is first when the browser sends a message to a server hello, and server sends a message back giving an acknowledgement plus all the keys that it can negotiate with. So they're type of the RSA, AES, you know, the advanced encryption system. There are a lot of keys and techniques that that is encryption TLS protocols contains, and server gives all the options that okay, I support AES 256. You don't really have to get into deep of cryptography. That's a completely different topic. AES, DES, you know, that's a completely different domain of understanding cryptography, the encryption, decryption, and all those detailed knowledge. You just have to know that okay, you know what, they communicate over TLS, which is transport layer security. Okay, that's what I mentioned yesterday. Remember, the latest version running is TLS 1.2. Okay, so what happens is server will send back the acknowledgement along with the encryption protocols and the keys. Okay, so when the browser receives that, it says, okay, you know what, I support AES 256. Let's negotiate our handshake. Okay, let's negotiate our handshake on this protocol. So, I apologize, but I think, yeah, that's a problem from your side because I guess pretty much everyone is able to hear it. Sure, I mean, we will send you Irani will send you the recording upon request. Make sure you do request a recording session to Irani, okay? Or just put a request in the group. Okay. Please. Sam Cook. Okay, so once they come to a conclusion, okay, we will do negotiation on this. Then finally, the browser and server negotiate, for example, on AES 256, and here becomes a tunnel. Okay, encryption tunnel. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I think Toyin has some problems, and I guess she will just receive the recording. Okay. So finally, sorry, I mean, I'm just jumping here and there because I have to respond, I have to take concerns over the problems and stuff. Anyways, I think it's all done now. So browser sends a hello request to server, then server gets a request, then server replies back using acknowledgement plus the encryption protocols that it supports, and then it says, okay, these are all the protocols that I have. Hey browser, what do you have? So it says, okay, I support this one. That's the latest one. Let's do a protocol. So browser and server now agrees to have an encryption tunnel using this, and that's how they come to a conclusion. And HTTPS, basically the encrypted tunnel, gets built. Okay. Now, whatever information you submit here, okay, example anything, whenever it leaves your computer, it will, right before leaving computer, your browser will actually encrypt all the information and then send over to the server. So anyone who's sitting in between, man in the middle attack, who's trying to do that and capture their traffic, they will just see garbage because they don't have decryption key to decrypt the information. That's actually what happens I mean, there's much more in depth, but this is the overview of what exactly happens between when you type google.com and when you try to reach any server and you have the HTTP lock. This is what happens in the background along with the certificate. Okay, I mean, this is just for extra information so that everyone is aware of it. Any questions so far? Okay, great. So yeah, just wanted to share that knowledge with you. Okay, coming back to Qualys. Okay. Yeah, so we're pretty much done with the base process. Now, today what I will show you is some different modules of Qualys. So let's start with VM. Okay, what we have been working on. I have a request. How they exchange encryption key between them. So Aliaska has a question. How they exchange encryption key between them. So the thing is, browser has its own. When the developers develop a browser, they do feed some bunch of encryption protocols to support. Okay, and when server in the server itself, it will have some encryption protocols inbuilt, feed it in. So once they communicate, they have these keys pre-built in their own system, and then they communicate. We don't make anything. It's all by default feed it in at the time of development. Okay, how they exchange encryption keys between them? It's not exchanging. It's saying, okay, so you have it, I have it. Let's negotiate this. That's it. Let's get to a conclusion and do a handshake on this encryption. Simple. Is that answer your question, Aliasgar? Yep. So Ahmed Ali, another question. Ahmed Ali, can you please give over the topic finish of analytic scan? Okay. So I think, sure, yeah. So yesterday, as part of the training, we covered what's authenticated scan, what's unauthenticated, right? Unauthenticated. So basically, so far what I've showed you till date was just unauthenticated scan, because we just go to the scan and then we click scan and we put down the IP address or asset group, and we run the scan. Here, as you can see, there is no authentication done at any level. Okay. So there are now two types of authenticated scans. First of all, you can go under authentication, and what you can do is, if you want to scan a company, okay, so you have to request a service account. So what is service account? Service account is something that is the admin. That basically will be an admin account using which you can log into any system, any server. That's the universal credentials. Those will be the universal credential, and that's called service account. So you can use that account, that credentials, to log in into any system, even my system as well. In my company, there are like two email addresses that are those are the service accounts, using which, for troubleshooting purposes, any IT person who's handling that can actually log into my system and do some troubleshooting when I'm unavailable or if I have any issues. So that's the reason everyone has service accounts. So what you have to do for authentication is you have to request a service account in the Active Directory, and then use that account to run scans. So for example, look, new Windows record. I will show you how it looks like. Login credentials, right? This is where you will enter the service account credentials and run the scan on these IP addresses. Okay, so this is one way to do authenticated scan. But another way that I like is Qualys Agent. So what you're doing manually, I mean, you're doing authenticated scan, but still you're doing manually, right? You have to go in and do all this stuff. There's an automated way of authenticated scan using Cloud Agent. Okay, all you have to do is just take that package, install on the system. The agent will be installed on the system. It will scan the system every 4 hours. That will be authenticated because the agent is sitting on the system, gathering all the information, looking into deep roots. Once it's done, once we install it, every 4 hours, right away, I mean, every 4 hours it will scan the device, and right away you will have that system popped up here, like this system. This is a system name, IP address, operating system version, And look, less than a minute ago. So this was scanned less than a minute ago. This was 2 minutes. Every 4 hours, these systems get scanned by their own agents installed on their local machine. And the beauty of the quality agent is it gives you a lot more information that just more than than vulnerabilities. It gives you all the software installed on the system. So if you want to double check how many software are installed on systems, okay, you can also use this cloud agent to find softwares. Let's see if I get software name. I would say Microsoft. Let's see how many systems have a software name by Microsoft. So I have 2.32K systems that have Microsoft as part of the software name. So agents, apart from showing vulnerabilities, it gives you more information. It gives you extra information around system, softwares, network, open port system information generally, and the IP address, who logged in last time, and the username login. You know. So Qualys agent is something that is really useful to install. Once you install, what you can do is just, if you want to generate a report, as I showed you yesterday, just go under VM and run a report on that particular IP address that has that agent installed. Because remember, why do we run scans manually? Just to validate. Now with Qualys agent, it's revalidating the system and scanning such every 4 hours. So anytime you run a report, you will have the latest results. Okay. So Elias got the question. Was that a typo? Can Cloud Agent also get browser history too? I doubt. I doubt. I don't think so. It tracks. So Elias got the question. Can Cloud Agent also get browser history too? I don't think so. Because look, it's not monitoring your actions. It's just monitoring, capturing system image, what all softwares and stuff is installed on the system. It's not monitoring your actions, what you're running in your control panel and by any PowerShell scripts or any JavaScripts. No, it's just taking an image capture of your system. Okay. But yeah, good question. Any other questions? I hope, Ahmed Ali, I hope this makes sense, right? Any questions that you have related to an authentic scan? I apologize if I'm getting stuck on my phone because today my trust me, my brain is not working. I don't know why. It's like all messed up. It happens at times, right? So yeah, any questions? Okay, great. Anyone any other questions? Any topic that you want me to go over that we went yesterday, or any questions? Okay, great. So we saw scan, map, schedule, appliances, options, profile. Look, pretty much we have covered very good amount of tabs. Search list as well, authenticated as well. Yeah. Then reports. On the reports, we cover reports, schedule, templates, search list. The same thing. Now risk analysis. Uh, I mean, it's just another feature of reporting. You would not actually use it a lot, but depends. If you really want to identify targets to analyze for the probability of exposure to a specific vulnerability, that's this information already in the report, so it's not really necessary. Okay, search list. You know why we use search list. We first create search list to if you want if what do we want to see in the report. So if you want to filter down based on severity level 3, 4, and 5, if you just want to see confirm 3, 4, and 5s, that's how we do. That's what we do using search list, and then we embed into template. Right? Remember, you call search list in template, where you just pull in the respective search list into the template. Look, filter, custom, and just pull that search list. So you will just see those confirmed level 3, 4, and 5 vulnerabilities. Now the template is just to filter what do you want to see in the report, what columns you want to see in the report. Okay. I hope everyone remembers that information. Remediation, this is a whole different area which is not really useful because a typical company, if there's a ticketing system, this is basically a ticketing system. It says it records all vulnerable tickets, individual tickets, as you can see ticket numbers. So if one IP has 10 vulnerabilities, what it will do is it will feed in 10 different tickets on the same IP address because these are like individual vulnerabilities. So these tickets are based on individual vulnerabilities and based on, against IP addresses. But many of the companies does not use it because they have their own ticketing system where they record and remediate. Assets, we pretty much gone to asset groups where you create the groups and IP addresses, host asset where you register IP addresses, and here this is a good search engine that you can use right to run few queries right away. What I mean by that is, for example, let's take this IP address. Now you may face some situations where anyone comes to you asking, hey, can you tell me what is this IP address? What you would do right away? How would you find? So far, what the tool that I've explained to you, what you would do? Because your manager knows that you're scanning this IP address. So suddenly he raised a question. Hey, can you tell me what's the IP operating system running on this IP address, or can you tell me the information around this IP address? So this is where you can go directly asset search, okay, and you can pull that type of information. How? I will show you right now. So the IP address that I just copied, just paste that IP address here. Include the group. This will show you what asset group has this IP address, or what group this IP address belongs to. What asset group this IP address belongs to. Okay, because it's really tough when you make IP address groups, and if you just have to search one IP address, you will have to go under asset group and individually search every group and check if that IP address exists in that group or not, right? That's a tedious work. Instead, what you would do is just go under asset search, type in the IP address, click that checkbox, so it will tell you what asset group it belongs to. What I will do, I will not check that group as of now. Let's see what happens. So I just entered IP address, and let's see the results, okay? Where is that? Okay, here we go. So it gives me information around this IP address. DNS name is this, mommy. Interesting. The operating system is a 2000 server, and last scan was 824, which is today itself. Damn, how's that? Okay, 815 was, you see the tracking method IP. This should be Q agent or tracked by cloud agent. Usually it says cloud or Q agent. I don't know what's wrong with this right now. But yeah, whenever, remember in the report I showed you, if there is if the tracking method has IP, means you're scanning the IP address manually. If the IP address has Q agent, that means a Qualys installed on the machine. The reason you're seeing this both is it is scanned by manually as well, and also has an agent. That's the reason you see these two entries at the same time. You can do it, but it's waste of manually scanning the IP address. It's just one of the things that I have to improve in my own environment, because initially we were scanning manually, but they decided to roll out agent. Now I have to shift, do some changes in the backend in the asset group just to remove these IP address from the respective asset group. Now, I know. So I got a request, and my manager asked me, okay, so tell me the IP system that is running on that IP address. So you already have it. What if it tells, okay, what group it belongs to, what company it belongs to? For example, I told you my company has 25 different companies. I have to track down individual IP addresses based on their company. That's the reason I name my asset groups as company name, and then import, add all the respective IP addresses of that company into that respective IP asset group, so that I know, okay, this asset group is of this companies, and these are all the IP addresses of this company, okay? So what you do if you get the request from a manager saying, okay, can you tell me what company this IP address belongs to? What you can do, just click this box, and you will have the asset group name popped up in the results, in the search. I will show you right now. I already knew that initially when I was searching and playing around. That's how I got to know that. I was like, okay, that's really a good checkbox to use. Look, asset group. This was not there when I initially ran the report with unchecked box. So it says me this item belongs to SWEP. That's one of my company name. I'll be like, okay, it belongs to SWEP, and this is OpenDNS, the operating system, and blah. And if you really quickly want to see how many vulnerabilities that IP address has, just click on that IP address. You will get a new pop-up, and under vulnerabilities. I mean, there are many ways that you can find vulnerabilities, but the reporting is a standard one. These are like quickly check, or when you have to quickly check or do some things real quick. This is what you can do and utilize those options. Okay. It's taking time. Okay. So it has 5, 4, and 3. So it has Microsoft Group Policy remote code execution, MS15001. So this is a patch missing. If you want to explore, just click this or click the link. Okay, you will get all the details right away. It says first detected when this vulnerability was first detected. It was detected in March 23rd, 2018, and last detected 8/24. So what do you understand by this first detected and last detected? Any hints? What
So like
do you
just
go ahead.
no, nobody's like replicated that vulnerability, you know. So that still it's the server, whatever asset that is, and you know, the vulnerability is still exists.
Hmm.
Nobody solved that, you know. Nobody took care
Correct.
of
I
it.
mean, that's
Yeah.
true because last detected is 24 and we today's day is 24. Yes, no one have taken some action. But what do you see when you compare first detected and last detected? What good information you can see? What you can tell to the respective team or manager, or what typical information you get right away as you see first detected and last detected? This is one of the important thing that when you do reporting, this is one of the context that you have to insert into the report. I will tell you when I tell you the answer, you will get that point. But I still want group's answer if anyone can guess. Yeah, first detected, last detected. I mean, yeah, first can, last can. But what information are we getting out of it that we can use against reporting just to hold them accountable?
It's been more than 30 days that nobody
Absolutely
took care
right.
of it.
Exactly. Not more than 30 days. But I mean, what you want to tell was right. Duration of scan. No, Ahmed, duration of the scan is like the time the scan was run. But to Jamal's point, yes, 30 days. I mean, you gave the wrong number because, look, if you compare months, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 5 months. So that means it tells you, hey, this vulnerability was first detected in April and still today is detected. That means this vulnerability is open since 5 months and no one has taken action. So this is the type of context that you can insert, that you can put down in your report, and that's the catchy part. When your higher management sees this, they'll be like, whoa, okay, that's not good, right? Because remember your timeline that you gave, 45 days. They have violated way beyond 45 days, right? And the same thing is in your report as well. First detected, last detected. If you observe, when I showed you the Excel sheet, first detected, last detected column is also in your sheet. Okay. Let me show you the reporting that I try to build. Yeah, I think I showed you guys. Yeah, the very first day or second day when I was talking about reporting, or maybe yeah. So look, what I did. um, okay, so what I did. This is just reporting external vulnerabilities or all external IP addresses. Simple. Not I have not included internal on for this particular report. All external. So I mean this bar is for December 2017, January 2018, February 2018, March 2018. Okay, 4 months trending. These charts are called, when you see lines, these are called trending, means showing you the status, whether you have did good, bad, you poor, excellent. So now, when I started back in December 2017, my total external vulnerabilities were 435. Okay. Now in January 2018, it went down. There were 414. So we have remediated almost 20 vulnerabilities, right? And then for the next month, there were 347, 341 overall. So now it's good we have reduced. Then further the same thing. Now you see 278 days. This is how I guard by calculating that first is last detected. Okay, so what I did was, you see this 120, 110, 80. These are like out of 341 vulnerabilities, 80 vulnerabilities have an actual exploit. Remember exploitability information? You know, I told you the very risky vulnerabilities are three, fours, and any three, fours, and five that has an active exploit in the market. So if any attacker knows that this vulnerability exists on a system, and there's an actual exploit, a way to get into a system, or if a hacker can follow a series of steps to enter the system, that's what exploitable information is. And of course, if there's an exploitative information, that means anyone can use it and then try to attack your system and maybe potentially get into your system. So these are all these. So what I try to show them is, out of 341 vulnerabilities, there are 80 vulnerabilities that have an actual exploit. So these are high risk, and these 80 are open since 278 days on an average. This is executable level report. Okay, I haven't shown a detailed report. This is like overall Dover Corporation, my own company, poster in the month of December 2017, in the month of January 2018, February overall. Now this got breakdown into these many sheets. So this is for the month of, I guess this is the month of April, March, sorry, April, yeah. So the segment level you see, I mean, this is just my company thing, okay? This is the stats for April 2018, breaking this whole 2,295 vulnerabilities, and showing the companies that have, I mean, showing the statistics by company. Okay, so if I add all this 14.8 everything, that sums up to 295. This is one of, yeah, this is a type of reporting that you can do and showcase in front of higher management, just to make them aware that, okay, this is what's going on in your environment. Simple. I hope that makes sense. Eventually we're covering each and every part of the Qualys. Okay, so first the last detected, that's what it means, and that's how you calculate the aging. Aging is the proper term that I would suggest to use. So it will tell you since how many days this vulnerability is open, because this will be really valuable information for the higher management, showing, okay, so you haven't fixed this vulnerability, which is level 5. Look, level 5, and let's see if it has exploitability. Yes, it do. Core security. If you go in under this link, there will be, of course, good information how you can break it down. Okay, so there's some marketing. Yep, MS 2015-0 is really a famous missing patch. So yeah, I mean, it requires some investigation if you want to really have exploit. So it has exploitability information as well. So that means by following some links or finding or doing some research on practically exploiting this vulnerability. Look, it has all the information how you can exploit with a video. Look, this is what I'm talking about. Someone who would publish a way using that vulnerability you can exploit, that's when you have exploitability information available for that vulnerability. So now look, in my own company, this vulnerability is level 5, which is really critical, which also has an exploit, and they haven't fixed since 5 months. This is what happens. Okay, so yeah, I mean, now you can see other vulnerability information too. So for example, this does not, okay, this also has exploitable information. Good, interesting. Exploitability information. Yep, there's no exploitable information for this vulnerability. Windows update for credential protection and management. This is what I'm talking about. Exploitable information, no, and there is exploitable information. Okay, I hope that makes sense, right? Any questions so far? Isn't that interesting, right? So here has a question. Is this with external IP address? Yes. I mean, no, right now, what I'm showing is internal, but exploitability exists both sides, external and internal, on external and internal IP addresses, both. Yeah.
One quick question about the, for example, there's so many patches used. So can you open the last window you minimize, or I think
Sure.
close? Yeah. The where you see the different patches, level 5. So any mechanism in the call is that you can install directly or run through the what is the agent? I mean cloud agent.
So here's the thing. You won't do any patching. You won't do any remediation.
Okay. Okay.
So security professional job is to, hey, listen up. This IP address has this patch missing. Take this report. Qualys will suggest you links. So based on the server, okay. So this server is what is the server? 2008 server, okay. So Qualys will suggest patches links. So for example, these are all the links of patches, okay. So I have to check my own 2008 server. Okay, this is a link from for patching, okay.
Okay.
So I can click it, and there will be directly download of the patch that they have to apply. But
Okay.
here's the thing: where this patch has to be applied. Question to
This
you:
particular IP.
on that particular machine. I mean, IP
Yeah.
is just a pointer. That's the name of that server,
Yeah.
right? But you have to apply the patch on the server, right?
Okay.
Do you have so will security people have access to server?
No, most of the time is not.
Absolutely nope. We will not have access. So we will share the report, and then that's the reason we will have meetings with the server team who is actually handling the server, and tell them, hey, listen up. This is what I see on your server, and this is the results. Just to give you help, this is a solution information that you can utilize. Go to this link, download this patch, and apply on the server. Once you're done, let me know. I will rescan the IP to validate whether this was successful or not.
But you are talking about the environment with more than 2,500 nodes at least scanning. What about the smaller environment, like a library, a small factory, or where only has one security person and one IT person? The person who is doing the security stuff is also doing the IT stuff.
So that's kind of immature companies.
Okay.
But in generally speaking, cybersecurity folks does not do actual hands-on remediation. That's industry standard. But now companies, if they don't have enough budget, like one of my friends actually does that. To your point, he does server installation, he does IT work, he does pretty much everything. He goes to the server, do remediation, runs the Qualys tool. I was like, what the hell? I mean, that's a lot of work. And I mean, that's a good exposure, but that's not of use. You're doing multiple domain jobs, but in the end, you just have to land up into one domain. You cannot just work as IT or security or system admin or Linux administrator. No. So typically speaking, the security folks won't be doing remediation, but it depends on the company, right? You know, if it's really a small company, there's a need that you have to fulfill. If you're okay, you will do it.
Okay. Got your point, man. Thank you.
Yep. No worries. Yep. Sure. Any other questions, folks? Okay. So yeah, this is the easy way that you can do. And now I would like to show one more thing. Okay. So remember I told you the exception process, right? Now, have you given a thought around what if? So, for example, let me pull up one vulnerability. Okay. This is our process. Look, I am driving tool according to my process. I'm not driving process according to tool. Okay. So that's what I'm hammering since day one. I'm hammering on, hey, you have to have a solid process before even you start a project. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can eventually improvise it, but you have to have a draft of a process so that you achieve the process by using tool. Okay. So what I mean by that is, now remember exception form. Okay, this part. If I come to you, so let's say Aliasgar is my security professional. I'm a system admin. Okay, and I say, hey Aliasgar, listen up. I cannot fix this issue because if I do it, server will be down. So I'm waiting on vendor version upgrade. They told me that they are soon releasing a version upgrade, and it might take 90 days for that version upgrade. Once the version is upgraded, I will apply the patch. So it will not break the system. So I need 90 days. I file the exception, and top management approves. Everyone approves. Now done. Now what Aliasgar will do? I mean, still, when you generate the report, it will still show on the report, right? Every month, because remember, you're running a scan and reporting every 30 days. Now, when I already have approvals on this exception, for the next time when the scan runs and report comes to me and I see this vulnerability, and I will be like, okay, hey, listen, I actually asked for the exception, and why are you showing this vulnerability again on my report, right? I mean, you can show it, but that's not a good hygiene, right? Yeah, and I'll be like, okay, what? I guess security team does not know what they're doing, because I already applied for the exception, everything got approved. So, but still, why this vulnerability is showing up on my report? So one way to ignore that vulnerability for a limited time is you can go here. You have to always use this asset search in order to ignore any vulnerability, okay? There's no other way. I mean, there might be, but this is the way I know. Qualys is really a big tool. Trust me, because since I'm using this, because I'm using Qualys since almost 1.5 years, and still I learn new things every day. That's how big the platform is. Okay. So what I will do is, because I want to be really good in my job and maintain good hygiene, what I will do, I will ignore the vulnerability for that amount of time. For example, they asked exception of 3 months. Okay. So I just click ignore. And look, reopen ticket in 90 days. Okay. So once I do it, it will reopen the ticket and it will re-show in my report after 90 days automatically. That's how you just ignore any vulnerability that a department has exception approval on. Okay? Any questions? Any confusions? Simple logic, right? Any questions? Yeah, it was pretty straightforward. There's no rocket science or anything complicated that belongs to it. Okay, so that's the power of asset search. And now, these are a few of the options that you can select if you want to do a search. So for example, let me do one search as accelerated external. I want to search from this group, from this asset group. If I want to just see how many IPs I have for this QID, for example. Okay, then search, I will get that report. I will get the report saying, okay, so this asset group has like 100 IPs, 100 vulnerabilities, okay? And I just want to check how many IPs have this QID, this particular vulnerability. Then I will just put down and do search. It will just give me the list of all the IPs that have this vulnerability, okay? This is the type of search that you can do. Last scan date, tracking method IP address, or Qualys Cloud Agent, operating system that begins with or contains Windows, or all this stuff. It's just a search power engine that you can use to make real quick searches. Okay. Virtual host, that's not really important. Domains, you wouldn't use a lot of domains because you have asset groups. It does the equal job of asset groups, so you don't have to focus on this as of now. Applications, I haven't used applications actually before. I think these are like web applications showing in this application tab. I'm pretty sure about it. Yeah. Time, port services, operating system, certificates. These are like all other tabs. In my job role, these are not really required as of now. That's because I don't use these tabs just like. Okay, so wait, I have a question. From Luisger, is router and switches also issue of vulnerabilities normally? Is router and switches also issue of vulnerabilities normally? Yes, I mean when you scan a router switches, they will be flagged. There will be vulnerabilities found if they have any. Okay, based on what Qualys have in their database. So yep, router and switches will also have vulnerabilities depending on their nature. Okay, is that clear? Okay. So certificates, if you want to search what are the expired certificates, self-signed certificates. So I told you, right? We also scan external IP addresses. So basically, what are we doing? What are we actually, when we scan IP addresses, we are scanning the websites, right? Or when we scan IP address, we get the certificate information as well. So this part is especially to see how many certificates will be expiring soon on what IP address. Just additional information for system admins, just to make sure that, okay, just to maintain good hygiene. This is what they would use. I mean, it's not your job, but if you get a request, hey, can you just tell me how many servers certificates are getting expired? You just have to go certificates, maybe expired, and then you will have all those. Self-signed is, remember, when I was explaining yesterday the concept of signed certificate, CA, certificate authority. There will be few certificates that you can self-sign. Like you will just get a random, no authorized certificate. Is just that you sign by your own self. It's just a technical word. You don't really actually sign with your own hand. But when you don't have a CA to agree upon, okay, what you would do is just use some random vendor and then generate a certificate on your own name. So that's called self-signed, which is usually not secure. You don't have to get into roots of that because you won't be handling any system admin level things unless and until it depends on your job role. But what I'm aiming for is the job role that we are planning to land you on. Hopefully you wouldn't require to do that, because contractors usually, I mean, obviously you will start your job as a contractor if you go through Irani, I mean, through us. But if you find a full-time job on your own, maybe situations like what Ali Asghar have defined, you explained, one guy doing everything, that's really possible. Because one of my friends is actually doing the same thing, and I was like, what the hell are you doing? He's taking the servers from one room to another, installing by his own, and I was like, that's not your job, that's IT. If you do that, when you will learn security, right? So, well, it depends on the company to company, okay? No, that's not really important. Okay, so we saw scans, reports, remediation, assets. Not all the tabs will be useful based on your job role, but still, it depends on your job role. What do they expect? Assets, knowledge base is just a database that you can search always for vulnerabilities if you want to learn more or check if this vulnerability exists. So there might be a question, hey, what if I want to check if there is a new vulnerability that you heard yesterday that got released yesterday, 2 days ago. If you want to check if that exists in the Qualys knowledge base, you can search it. You can search by the title name. So what you can do is, so what you can do, simple, go to search. Does anyone remember WannaCry ransomware that occurred last year, starting last year? Did anyone remember that WannaCry ransomware? Even thought about it, heard about it? WannaCry, UK, exactly, yep, UK hospitals, yep. Initially when I told you about this, yep. So at that time, there was a patch, SMB patch released. SMB, the patch was related to SMB or, no, actually there was, what I did was, because it was recently released and there has to be a patch released by Microsoft to fix that ransomware issue. The ransomware issue was basically, encrypting your files and transferring from one laptop to another through SMB port. What is that? Server message block, right? Server message block. So what happens is that is the protocol that is used for systems to communicate with each other. It's a communication channel, okay? So what ransomware was doing is, first of all, as soon as it hits one system, it was encrypting that system, and then using SMB service, it was traveling to other systems and neighboring servers. That's how it will spread. The worm will spread. Worm or virus or ransomware will spread if there is a communication protocol that exists between your neighbors. Okay. So the patch was, hey, just close SMB ports so that if one system got hacked, it shouldn't travel to any other systems. So Ali Asghar have shared one link, source of all new vulnerabilities. I mean, there are many there are many websites that gives you update on vulnerabilities. What I follow is USCert, one of the top high trusted. Yeah, yep. Nest is a framework. This is a good website if you really want to get familiar with all the latest updates and stuff. Subscribe to USCert. Trust me, you will get each and every vulnerability or anything that's going on the market or anything in cybersecurity crime, you will get it. But this is a good website, Nest, that has a database of vulnerability. I don't know how often they update. I don't have knowledge around this. What I do know is USCert is one of the top US government website that gives you a lot of information. In fact, you can subscribe. You will get an emails every day whenever there is a vulnerability release. So let me show you right now how it looks like. You have to sign up with some things like this, like what Aliasgar shared, some Feedly or USCert or some sort of newsletters or news company. Oh, I got approved. Wait. What happened? Okay, never mind. I guess my Outlook is causing a problem. So yeah, you will get emails with all the latest update. Okay. But thank you, Aliasgar, for sharing that with me. That's good information. Okay, so when you go to knowledge base, what you will do is just search. So at the time of WannaCry, what I did was I really wanted to check if they really have that patch. So I just tabbed WannaCry, and they had it. They were the patch. So the reason I wanted to check is if they update this database with the latest patches or vulnerabilities like WannaCry kept. So possibly when you run these scans on your assets, they will identify if this exists or not. Simple, right? That's the reason for just making sure that when we are scanning, we are getting latest vulnerability results. That's the reason I wanted to check in the database that, okay, if anything with WannaCry ransomware exists. So like WannaCry ransomware detected. If the system has this patch missing or any sort of ransomware variant, if you run the scanner against the IP address, and if it has if the one that exists in the knowledge base database of Qualys, it will show on your report. So this way you can be confident, okay, so I'm scanning all my assets, the vulnerability information is still in the database, exists in the database, and I'm not seeing in the report, that means I'm not affected, or I have those patches applied already on my system. Okay, that's one of the things that you have to remember always. Okay. Search list, I mean, yeah, you can always use search list, same typical, strategy. iDefense, this is another module that you have to buy. So, yep, the last tab is users, where you can give permissions to the users. If I want to add a new user, first name, last name, title, phone number, email, and address. Local user role, this is important. Scanner role, reader role, because if you give scanner, the user can just scan, okay, and reader just scan. Yeah, it won't be able to make changes or add asset groups or anything else. The user can just scan all the asset groups that already exist. That's it. Reader may just read the files and stuff. Auditor, unit manager, manager. This is a high-end role. When you give manager, that person can view everything like you. Okay, so you make sure. Another one is unit manager. Now, for example, you want to, so I have 26 different companies, okay, as I already mentioned. So what I want to do is, so every 26, every company among those 26 have their own IT managers, okay, IT managers and some IT folks. I want to give them access only to their asset groups. Okay, so for example, SWEP, one of the company again, and they have an IT leader, and they want access. They want to see their own asset group. So what I did was, you see, I have many asset groups under SWEP. Okay, so let me show you under asset groups, SWEP. And I have these many asset groups that I made for SWEP. What I would do, I would add all those asset groups and make one business unit. So you go under users, you go into business unit, okay? And I would name as SWEP and add all the asset groups under SWEP, this business unit. Done, save it, okay? So I have these asset groups. Look, Anthony International, for example. These are all my companies, okay? I mean, do I work for? All these asset groups on this business unit. So what I would do when I create a user, okay? When I create a user, and if I just want to give him access or her access to their own respective company, I just do unit manager and look, business unit. What unit you want them to have access only? So they will just see those number of asset groups. And then permissions, yeah, just leave it as it is. And notifications, no, yes, however you like, and save. This is how you give user permissions, okay? Simple. So I guess we covered an activity log, of course, who logged in, who logged out, all the IP address and timestamps. This is all what vulnerability management module is about. Any questions? Any concerns so far? And just so that you know, I know it's 7:08. We went over 8 minutes, but as I already mentioned, we still have to stick around for like more 20-25 minutes just so that complete this, okay? Okay, so Rihanna, the question, so they their username and password to access, yeah. As soon as you enter their email address and everything, the user will automatically get the email to sign up. That's it. It's automatic. Any other questions? I guess someone unmuted.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead. Hello, who was that? Any questions? Nope. Okay. I mean, feel free to ask questions if you have any. But Rehan, I hope that's clear, right? Okay.
One general comments about how many normally every like organization, every department have a numbers of user, and then there's a 1 person or 2 person, like 100 user, there's a one IT person. What is the ratio in the security?
That depends on that depends on the company. So example, so initially when I joined the company, it was my security team. I mean, the security exists, I guess, 5 months. The security team was just created 5 months ago. This company is running since almost 60-70 years, and now they're getting security team. And the user database is around 25,000 users, 25,000 users. So it depends on the company, their priorities and stuff. But yeah, I cannot really comment on that because that's how company. It depends on the company. Yeah. So I mean, do you really want to be more specific to your question? Maybe I can help more.
No, but some area there's like SOC, security operations centers, and that is a different domain to domain. I mean, why some organization have a SOC? I mean, like any. So some have a 2 person. So it all depend upon the nature of operation, correct?
Correct. It depends on the nature of the company, how many incidents they face. So initially, for example, I will give you an example of my own company. Initially, we had only two operations guy person, me and there was another person. Okay, so then we realized that there's a huge traffic. You know, there are a lot of there's a lot of incidents reported, a lot of attacks that are going on. So eventually, we have increased our team. So that's how it depends on the company based on the nature and everything. Yep.
And also, there's a outsourcing concept in the security. Also, the company outsource the security to any common.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, there's always that opportunity. For example, my own company, we outsource our SIM project, so security incident event monitoring. So this third party, which is the company name is GuidePoint, we have signed up with them. They have assigned, I guess, 5 to 6 folks where they monitor our environment using Splunk. We have forwarded almost all the server and firewall logs to the Splunk, and they will be monitoring our environment 24/7. If there is any alert or anything, they will just notify us saying, "Hey, this is activity going on your network. Please, can you investigate?" So yeah, third party.
Even the COVAX is also outsourced as possibility there.
Yeah, it is. Of course, it is.
Yeah.
Eventually, if there's no manpower, there's no resource, company will spend some money and then get third party. There will be a guy from third party contractor, and then they run the Qualys. So that person will be the SME of Qualys. That person will create the process, set up the tool, run, make documentation like the one I showed you. You know the process, this one. So it will that person will create and top to bottom everything. That's what I'm calling SME. So yep, it's possible. Any other questions? So I do see, Rehan, what do the users usually want to access their IP? Yes. So Rehan, to your question, yes, they want to access their IP addresses. I mean, just to see how they are structured. And for example, when they do remediation, if the user is pretty smart, who's doing remediation, what happens typically is they remediate, they put down the request, and then you run a scan. And at times when they email us, email you, you might be busy, you might respond after a day, and then you run a scan and then report. Instead, few users, few IT folks are kind of smart, and what they do is, hey, can you just provide me access? I can run my own scans and reports in real time, because when I do remediation, I want reports in time. So just to fill that gap, they might require access. Yeah, that's possible. So you can see, look, in my list, IT security network engineer. What network engineer has to do with my tool? This guy is kind of smart. He's like, hey, as soon as I do the remediation, I want to check in real time, because at times when they email me, if I'm really busy or in the meetings all day, I might respond tomorrow. That's what the deal is. And they were like, hey, can you just provide access? Because it's pretty easy to run the tool. I just showed them what they have to do. Just run this, I would select this, done. They do it. So yeah, to your point, yes, partially. And Ahmed has a question. Does your company have SOC? Yeah. Actually, our SOC team is in India. Operations team, for my company, all the operations team, the computer operations team is in India, who do investigations, email investigation, forensics, pen testing, in most likely attacking site. Yeah, I guess I trained half of the SOC team, like how they have to do emails, because they were like new people. Then eventually they got more resources and they started passing along the information. Any other questions? Okay, sure. So I think we covered vulnerability management. We covered cloud agent. Now this is one more module called asset view. Okay, so here what you can do is you can view all your assets. Remember what I term what are assets? Servers, endpoints, anything that you call in your company, hardware devices is your asset, which is connected to internet. Okay. So these are all the assets. I mean, typically this is used just to search if you want anything. If you want information around any IP address, 10. If you want to search, what is the IP address? Let's say 3. I'm not getting. Okay, so mommy, here you go. Look, it has Qualys agent on it. So asset group just shows you all the asset inventory that you have, all the assets, and yep, there's another important piece are tags. Tags. This is kind of confusing, but I will show you a simplified way. You don't have to concern about anything. You can either make asset groups, okay, which I would suggest. I always do asset groups because that's kind of easy. If you want to do tags, what I mean by that is you look, either you can do assets or either you can do tags. What I mean by tags is this is dynamic in nature, okay? So for example, if you want to make a tag, okay, if you want to make a group, okay, whose operating system starts with Windows, okay, operating system name starts with Windows, and create a tag. And no, wait. Why is this option must be a tag? I think I have to select properly. And because I'm not a big fan of tags, and it's kind of confused every time. So Apple, let's search Epson printer. Let's say Epson, and I have to select multiple because it's been a while I haven't used 30 days. Interesting. Oh, here you go. My bad. I was actually selecting tags. No. So the way you create is you pick the criteria. For example, you need operating system that begins with Epson printer, create tag. So what it will do, it will by default add all the systems whose operating system, all the assets whose operating system starts with Epson printer to that tag. So if you want to run scan using tags, you can do it. So for example, let's see an example. Okay. So you see new, and you see assets, you see tags. Look, what you can do is just add the tag and try the mark image, and you launch. You scan all the IPs that are in that tag, all the assets that are in tag. Okay. So I mean, I just wanted to show you that this exists, but do not get yourself confused. Remember the asset thing. Okay, that's pretty straightforward and simple. Tagging is just additional help where, I mean, few people find it easy, but for me, I don't know, it's kind of difficult to maintain. So whenever you want something dynamic in nature, if you know you have like 1,000 system that starts with, if you know out of your companies, one of the company has operating system starts with S dash something, and if you want to club, if you want to club everything in just one group right away without doing any manual work, just select the criteria that you want and then create tag. Simple. Okay. So if you want to gather all the systems that have open ports 443 or open ports to 34, I don't know, some random port. Okay. So if you want to see all the system that has open ports, and you just create a tag, all the systems that are in the Qualys, that you have, it will be added to the tag. So whenever you want to scan, run a scan on those all the assets that has open port, you just have to go and select that tag and run the scan. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Any questions? Great. Okay, so we covered asset view, cloud agent, version management. This is a web application scanning. So I will just complete this and stop. And by today, we will complete Qualys. Yay, finally first project down. So we discussed process, we discussed all the modules of Qualys, and now we are discussing web application. There are many other modules that Qualys provide, file monitoring. This does not have to do anything with vulnerability management, okay? Even web application scanning has nothing to do with vulnerability management. The main things will be these three: VM, Cloud Agent has to do with these three are the major ones for vulnerability management, okay? These others are just additional modules that covering different areas, okay? Ahmad Ali is like, finally. Hey, did you find this so boring that you're saying finally? Seriously? Now, trust me, when you start working on it, you will learn a lot, and you will be like, okay, so these are the vulnerabilities that are hurting. And when you start learning about vulnerabilities, you will be like, wow, these things are really possible. Oh my goodness. Trust me, that will be a reaction. Down the line, you might get bored, because nowadays I feel bored, and that's pretty obvious, because once you learn something, eventually there will be a point where you will get bored. That's for sure. Even when you buy a new car or a new bike, maybe you'll be excited for like 4 months, and then fifth month you'll be like, it's just a bike. Okay, never mind. Same thing with the tools and stuff. That's the reason what I do is I always jump between projects. I mean, out of my own interest. If I know there's a new project, I ask my team, hey, I want to just be a part of it and learn about it. Can I do it? Yeah. Simple. So I just don't. If I mean, I have a choice. I can just stick with Qualys forever for my full time, for just 8 hours that I work every day. And I was like, no, that's not going to be. I cannot leave that way. So I try, learning more projects. Right now I have 6 projects assigned to me that I'm running. It depends on your interest. That's what it's really important when you go to a company, right? I mean, it's not that I'm just praising myself or nothing. It's just out of my curiosity and passion that I want to learn. That's what I want to tell. Anytime you go to a company, okay, even a contractor or a full time or an intern. I started my job as an intern. In 1.5 months, I mean, I gave my best in 1.5 months, and eventually decided to hire me as a full time. So the point I'm making is, at times you have to put down effort. That amount of effort that, okay, and you have to give your best in order to achieve something. That's what I learned over time. Trust me, I hate studies. In my engineering, in my intermediate, I was like, I don't used to study a lot. I'm like more hangout person, going, roaming and stuff. But there's a point where you have to do hard work. That's when you get paid. So whenever you go, you just have to give your best and try to understand things, be passionate about learning. That's the only way you can grow. Yeah. The day you stop learning, trust me, that's the end. That's when you make big bucks. Yeah. Putting down your hard work, and yeah. And always do smart work, not hard work. Whenever you can, try to be smart, and try to put down automations, not manually writing down or manually doing the stuff. Yeah. So just personally, out of experience, that's what I want to share, because trust me, I've seen a lot of people that they complain they don't have job, but they don't see actually what they're doing, how much effort they're putting into finding a job or finding anything, not even job. If you have any complaint that, hey, I cannot achieve this, it's not doable. Everything is doable. It's just about you analyze how much effort you're putting into it. That's why it matters. Anyways, I mean, enough of the lectures, of course. So yeah, web applications. This is a panel where this is a module where you can actually scan websites. This is a completely different module, okay? But the intention is to find vulnerabilities hidden in your website, not at your system level. So here's the big difference, okay? When you're scanning an IP address, internal IP address, you're scanning a system, okay? You're scanning a system, you're scanning things that are running on the system, missing patches and everything. But when you're running scan on a URL, okay, a website URL like google.com, facebook.com, you are running a scan on the website itself. And the vulnerabilities that a website has when compared to the system level, they are different. So for example, how many have heard about cross-site scripting? My eyes are on the chat. So how many have you heard about cross-site scripting? I get Eliasgar, yes. Okay. Anyone else? So can you tell me, Eliasgar, what is cross-site scripting? I mean, what is that?
It's some like a SQL injection and cross site, like you put the
No, SQL injection different. Cross-site scripting is different. Okay, so you heard about SQL injection, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what that is? I mean, it's not an interview, of course. It's just I'm a little curious. That's it.
Then you put just like there's available on site the forms. You put SQL injection. You put some code in this, and you get information. What is the system background, or you can pull out other information, other user detail, the password. And cross-site description is like I'm mixing something with a SQL injection.
So you're partially right, but Ahmed has a comment: change code on a web page by a hacker. Yes, to some extent, yes. So cross-site scripting is one of the attacks. It is only a web application website vulnerability. It cannot be found in system level. Just try to understand the difference, okay? So web application vulnerabilities are different from system level vulnerabilities, okay? So cross-site scripting, SQL injection, all these are web application vulnerabilities where cross-site scripting is one of the attack where a hacker will try to find a spot where hacker can inject script, okay? JavaScript or something there using which it can get more information. So for example, what I will do is there are separate tools that you can use like Burp Suite. I don't know how many of you have heard about Burp Suite. That's a tool that is used for can you hear me now? Okay, sorry, I think my internet was off for a while. Can everyone see my screen now? Okay, so good to you guys. I think his computer froze. No voice here, no voice here, no voice here. Okay. I think his computer froze. Maybe he lost network connection. Maybe he lost internet hacker. Yeah, Jamal. I guess I will try to do your system. I'll try to hijack your system now. Ahmed, that's okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess everyone is on the same call. Yeah, sorry, my bad. I think my internet just went upside down for a while, and I think we are good now. Let me check if this session is getting still recorded or not. I was just speaking, and then realized why I'm not hearing anything. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, what's wrong with this recorder thing? Oh, okay. Oh, it's recording. So what I was saying is SQL injection is the type of attack. Yeah, it says recording. Yep. So SQL injection is type of attack where attackers will actually insert. Oh, before even that, login page, how it interacts is when you enter your username and password, as soon as you click login, it will go to the server, check in the server's database whether this username and password exists, and then authenticate you. So what hackers will do is they will try to run some SQL queries from this field itself, because as I already mentioned, these fields will be interacting with the server database, checking it, okay? So if the application level, the way it is developed or coded, if it's not secure, if it's not following secure protocols, like stored procedures, and these are the techniques to avoid SQL injection, then hacker can actually write down some SQL queries and try to attack it. One simple way to find whether the application is vulnerable to SQL injection is just use single quotation and enter. Look, it's giving me the valid. It's giving me an error because they have implemented the right set of validations. If a website which is vulnerable to SQL injection, and on that application, if I just enter single quotation enter, it will give me a message, your query is wrong or something, if the application was not developed with good security practice. Now, when I enter into Twitter, okay, I see this validation check, which is generic in nature. That tells me, okay, they did a good thing in the background and it's not prone to SQL risk injection. I mean, just giving you a simple logic of SQL injection. Similarly, there are many attacks, and you can always go to OWASP top 10, learn. One of the tasks today will be just go and learn. I mean, out of your interest, I'm not going to force you, but go to this website and learn the top 10 vulnerability, web application vulnerabilities. So this is OWASP is the organization, okay, which is a free organization for web applications. Open Web Application Security Project. That's a full form of this foundation, okay? And OWASP. I will just type into the chat, okay? So this is where you can get a lot of information around web application vulnerabilities. And based on the year, top 10 vulnerability changes, okay? I don't know how to find top 10 vulnerabilities. Okay, so where do I see top 10? I don't know, it's been a while, so they have changed. OWASP top 10. There's also actually one of the interesting website that I came across while learning, hacksplanning.com. No, not this one. There was a website, Hacks Planning. This is a website for learning web application vulnerabilities. Yeah, this is really a good one. I truly recommend if you want to understand in real time how attacks happens. This is what you can do. For example, this is SQL injection, okay? So I click it. Look, it tells you what it does. So it gives you a real-time attack situation. So this is a vulnerable application will try to hack with SQL injection. Okay, so I say yes. This is just the logs in the behind the scenes. Here are the application logs. What happens when you interact with the vulnerable application. Okay. So email address, go ahead and try login with the following credentials. Okay. What happens? Did my application got stuck? Okay, so initializing log, no session established, entering login page. Oh, my pop-ups are blocked. Okay, that's the reason you're not seeing the website. And my browser pop-up is blocked. If I use this Chrome, let's see. That's what I was like. This is kind of weird. So in short, I don't want to waste time on this. In short, you can go here, try real time. It explains you step by step, showing you exactly how it looks like. These are all only web application vulnerabilities, just to make sure. Okay, do not get confused. Still, again, between system level of vulnerabilities and application vulnerabilities. Okay, so Qualys, what it does is this is the automated engine where you can register a web application, what you want to scan, okay, and then run a scan. Right away after running the scan, you will get results like, okay, this website has this many these many vulnerabilities, okay? This is an automatic way of scanning. There are many tools that you would find, and let me show you one of the report. Maybe tomorrow I can show you how you can set up a web application scan. But in short, this is the report after scan you will get, okay? So injection, no, 0. So sensitive data exposure, there were 2 vulnerabilities, and then security misconfiguration. Now, as a security professional, you have to get this report, try to understand what are these vulnerabilities, okay, and how you can fix it. Pretty much, Qualys will give you right away. Qualys will give you all the information as it gives you the solution tab. It will give you all the information, like example payload, what it finds, and I guess it gives you solution as well. Yeah, that's what it's framed. So pretty much install patch. Now, so clickjacking, for example, for these type of vulnerabilities, you can always Google as well if you don't find that solution in the report. I mean, because I know this vulnerability, I don't usually look for a solution. This is clickjacking. This is one of the vulnerability where if a web application is vulnerable to iframe, that's one of the HTML tag. And if it's vulnerable, what attacker can do is put down a transparent page where you think it's Qualys and you click it. It's actually a transparent frame where hacker might embed a malicious link where a ransomware get downloaded into your system and then start encrypting your files. So that's clickjacking frameable page, right? So I mean, I know this web application because I was initially started with ethical hacking, and that's how I know. So I don't really search for solutions. Or you can always go on Google and type that tax. You will get all the details around it. Okay. So this is a report that I want to share, but tomorrow I will show you how you can set up a scan to set up an environment to scan web applications. If you get a requirement, hey, can you scan this website? So typically when you work for a company where they develop a lot of web applications, what they do is as soon as they develop, they will ask you, hey, can you just scan our website or development website and tell us if there are any hidden vulnerabilities, right? And yeah, so my bad, Monday, not tomorrow. Yeah, please enjoy your weekend. So Monday will be the next class, same 8 to 9. Okay. Meanwhile, during this weekend, before even that, so let me complete this. So yeah, next class I will show you how you can set up web applications and run a scan. And as soon as the scan is done, you can go to the reporting and see the similar report and download it. Okay, simple. So yeah, web applications. So for this weekend, what I would suggest is if you really want to get familiar with web applications, run for this weekend, go to Hacks Planning, learn, and go to OAP's website and learn few top 10 vulnerabilities. Okay, top 10. OAP's top 10. And Hacks Planning, 2 things. So yeah, that should be it for today. Any questions before we wrap up the session? This will get more interesting when you enter web applications. You will discover a lot of things. When you learn about OS top 10, trust me, you'll be like, wow. So any questions before we wrap up the session? It's getting interesting or boring? I guess interesting eventually because we are discovering a lot of stuff, right? Absolutely. And trust me, if you learn this OS top 10 over the weekend and come on Monday class, trust me, you'll be like, wow, yeah. Thank you so much. I try. Yeah, I mean, instead of giving long presentations with a lot of text, I would prefer, sharing real-time experiences and what I'm facing right now, what I'm working on. Yep. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it. So yeah, but over the weekend, absolutely, yep, more hands-on learning. Yep. So, I mean, unfortunately, I cannot build any lab where you can track keys, but that's the reason I'm showing my tool right away, again and again, so that everyone is familiar. When they start using the tool, they can easily get it. I have put down a request to Salim to get the trial version of Qualys so that you guys can work on it, possibly. So I will again touch base with him today, okay? But trust me, I highly recommend over the weekend at least get familiarized with OF's top 10, not even hack planning, but get familiarized with top 10 so that Monday when we discuss, trust me, you will be really curious and you will make the class interesting. You're like, hey, I learned this and this is a vulnerability that does this. And yeah, we can have it more interesting. So, and when you learn about it, you will also see this name Burp Suite a lot. Burp Suite. This is a free source tool that you can use in order to attack a website. So once you know the vulnerabilities, right, you can use this tool and try to implement or do those top 10 attacks on a website. There are few websites that are available for attacking, which OF's people provide you. Yep, use in Linux, same tool in Windows. Yep. So OFs do provide some test websites that you can run, use Burp Suite and do some testing. And then this is how you get from here. But remember, the using Burp Suite and doing attacks on website is more attacking side, not defensive side. Because it's just part of Qualys I'm showing you, you don't really have to do the actual practice of testing. Maybe after training you can do it, but our focus is something defensive, okay? But out of your interest for extra period of time, if you really want to learn about it, go first, start with OF's top 10, Burp Suite, and there is a famous book, Web Application Hackers Handbook. This is where it's around 900 pages, I guess. This is where I started learning hacking, and I read that whole book, and trust me, that's the Bible of web application hacking. Once you complete that book, you'll be familiar with most of the vulnerabilities of web application, how to hack it, how to use Burp Suite, and a lot of different tricks. Same as a comment, read the first one last. Yeah, do it and you will land up nowhere. Yeah, most probably in the conclusion and you're done. But yeah, I highly recommend at least get familiarized over the weekend. That's one of the assignment I would suggest. I cannot enforce, of course. Everyone have their own priorities, but I highly recommend learning OS top 10 over this weekend and come to Monday's class. Okay? Perfect. I think that's all about it for today. Thank you for staying long, and any questions or any concerns before we wrap up the session? Okay, so I think everyone is all set, and we'll take a leave for today. Thank you so much.